on Sports Central tonight. Another victory. Sri Lanka record a hard-fought 4-wicket win against Afghanistan in their first Super 6 match of the Under-19 Cricket World Cup in Namibia, with all-rounders anchoring Sri Lanka towards the win.
They're bold with discipline, they're fielded with
6 nations. Rugby coaches and captains gather in Edinburgh for the launch event of the 2026 Men's Six Nations tournament, which will officially get underway when defending champs France host Ireland in Paris on the 5th of February. Semi-final spots. Arena Sabalenka and Alexander Zverev advanced to the semi-finals of the Australian Open, with the women's defending champion and men's last year's runners-up looking to offer a great competition this time around as well.
Game 7 at Zverev. 3 sets to 1, 6-3, 6-7, 6.
And testing begins.
From Studio 24C, this is Sports Central. And now, here's Vinut Varnasurya.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Other Derana Sports Central. Well, today also our rundown is packed with all the updates covering major sporting action around the world as also home. We start off with the updates coming in from the Under-19 World Cup. Sri Lanka recorded a hard-fought 4-wicket win against Afghanistan in their first Super 6 match of the Under-19 Cricket World Cup in Namibia yesterday. Viran Shamudita and 2 Mahanama College all-rounders in Chamika Heenatikala and Dulnit Sigera were the mainstay of Sri Lanka's win. After having asked to bat first, Afghanistan totaled 193 all-out in 49.5 overs. Osman Sadar top scored for the Afghans with patient 61 off 107 balls, while Asisullah Miakhil made 43 runs.
way too short. Just glad South Africa aren't playing today. Chance. I think he's in big trouble here, John. All over Red Rover.
In bowling for Sri Lanka Under-19, Viran Shamudita was the pick with 2 wickets for 20 runs in his 10 overs. Kugatas Mathulan also picked up 2 wickets.
It was his decision.
Oh no, it's all going wrong for Afghanistan. Well, he goes for another one, but he hasn't got all of this. Kavija settles under it. They're gonna go again. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's hit the other end though.
He tried to pick it up. Finger went up.
Sri Lanka got off to a shaky start as Shamudita lost his wicket for just 1 run. Dimantha Mahavithana and Senuja Vakunugoda steadied the innings with a second wicket stand of 55 runs.
Side edge. I'm going to race to the rope.
Dimantha made 37 while Senuja top scored for Sri Lanka with 43 runs.
Has he grabbed it? Umpire says he has. If you're going to dish up full tosses, you can expect to travel.
Well, a mighty swipe there.
Although Sri Lanka lost wicket of skipper Vimat Dinsara for just 6 runs, steady knocks by Kabija Gamage with 25 runs, Chamika Heenatikala with 22 not out and Dulnit Sigera with 30 ensured Sri Lanka reaching the target of 194 in 46.5 overs, losing 6 wickets.
Wow, that is a tremendous stroke.
Oh no, what's he done? What has he done?
Yes.
Jamarindu on strike. Swatted. It's going to be safe. And these will be the winning runs for Sri Lanka. They're bold with discipline. They're fielded with
Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Cricket announced today that Sri Lanka women's national team will tour the West Indies during February and March for white ball series. Accordingly, they will play a 3-match one-day international series and a 3-match T20 international series against their Caribbean counterparts. All the matches will be played at the Grenada National Stadium. The first ODI will take place on the 20th of February, while the second and third ODIs will be played on the 22nd and 25th of the same month. Meanwhile, the 3 T20Is will be played on the 28th of February, 1st of March and the 3rd of March. The finals of the Under-13 Division 1 cricket tournament was held today at the MCA grounds in Colombo, with St. Anthony's College Kadugastora battling it out against Thurston College Colombo. Let's get the updates. The Inter-School Division 1 Under-13 final between St. Anthony's College Katugasthoda and Thurston College Colombo was played at the MCA grounds in Maitland Place. The visitors decided to bat first after winning the toss. They totaled 176 runs for 6 wickets in their quota of 50 overs. Sadil Seneviratne top scored with 94 runs off 133 balls with 7 fours. Hiruka Aberatne made 30 not out. Yasiru Sanchala bagged 4 wickets for 29 runs. In reply, Thurston batters after a slow start took on the target with some lusty blows in the last few overs. But they managed to score 175 for 4 in their allotted 42 overs, thus losing the match by just 1 run. Didula Samarasinghe was the top scorer with 67 runs off 94 balls with 7 fours. Ayush Vijay Singha remained unbeaten on 47 runs. With these results, St. Anthony's College Katugasthoda emerged the champions of the Under-13 Division 1 tournament. The 98th National Boxing Championship got underway at the public grounds in Horana last evening. This tournament will continue until Friday. Let's get a wrap up on what happened. The 98th National Boxing Championship began last evening at the Horana public ground and the bouts are taking place under floodlights. More than 180 men and women in the 30 weight categories are taking part in the competition, and boxers from the 3 armed forces and the police are expected to dominate the proceedings. Organized by Sri Lanka Boxing Federation, this championship has attracted all the players who have been named in Sri Lankan national pools. The bouts are taking place from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. and the event is expected to attract a good crowd to witness the country's boxing talent. The semi-finals are scheduled to take place on Thursday, and on the same day from 8 p.m, a professional boxing fight will take place with boxers from India and Africa. Meanwhile, an under-15 boxing tournament will also take place to coincide with this year's national championship. The organizers said that the under-15 event will be considered as a selection tournament for the upcoming Asia Under-15 Boxing Championship. We are heading into a short commercial break. More sporting action coming right after this. Stay tuned. You're watching Ada Derana Sports Central. Welcome back to Sports Central right here on Ada Derana News Channel. Cricket Scotland has received assurances that ICC is working very hard to ensure Scotland players will be granted Indian visas in time for their opening T20 World Cup fixture on the 7th of February, including fast bowler Safian Sharif, who has Pakistani heritage. Scotland were the beneficiaries of Bangladesh's last-minute withdrawal from the World Cup as the highest-ranked team who had not already qualified and named a 15-man squad yesterday, which is due to fly to India later this week. The state of political and diplomatic relations between India and Pakistan had resulted in regular delays for Pakistani nationals or those with Pakistani heritage when applying for Indian visas in recent years, including several cricketers. But Cricket Scotland is confident that Sharif, who was born in Huddersfield to a Pakistani father and a British Pakistani mother before moving to Scotland aged 7, will be granted a visa in time for the team's opening match against West Indies in Calcutta. Scotland are due to play a warm-up match against Afghanistan and Namibia in Bengaluru on the 2nd and 4th of February before their opening fixture against West Indies in Calcutta. The other first-round matches are against Italy, England and Nepal, with the top 2 teams in Group B then qualifying for Super 8 stage. Richie Berrington will be captaining the Scottish side, and the rest on the squad includes Tom Bruce, Matthew Cross, Brad Curry, Ollie Davidson, Chris Greaves, Sani Hulaisan, Michael Jones, Michael Lesk, Finlay McCreath, Brandon McMullen, George Munsey, Safian Sharif, Mark Watt and Brad Beal. Glenn Maxwell will remain with the Melbourne Stars in the BBL for at least another 2 years after he signed a new contract just hours before the contracting embargo starts. It means that Maxwell, who is the third highest run scorer in BBL history, will continue in the competition beyond the age of 39 as Stars continue to search for an elusive maiden title. Now, having fallen out the knockout stage this year, they remain at only club to not have won the title. Maxwell endured a poor season where he made just 76 runs in 8 innings and claimed 2 wickets. He had received a lucrative offer from Sydney Thunder to make a move. Maxwell said that the Melbourne Stars had been a massive part of his cricket career and that he was really passionate about the team achieving success. He added that he believed the current group was building towards something special and that he was confident they were in a position to contend for the title over the next 2 seasons. Clint McKay, Stars high-performance manager, said that Maxwell has obviously been one of the best T20 players in the world for a long period of time and his commitment to the Stars is really valuable to them. Stars have also extended Campbell Callaway's deal for another 2 years. The left-hander made 172 runs at 21.50 this season. Once the contracting embargo starts today, a player movement window begins from the 20th of January to the 5th of February, which allows clubs to sign off contract players or make trades. The baggy green cap that Sir Donald Bradman wore in India's maiden series as an independent nation has been bought for 460,000 Australian dollars by an anonymous buyer at a Gold Coast auction. Bradman wore the cap during his final home series against India in the 1947-48 season before gifting it to their opening bowler Ranga Sohoni, whose family had kept it in their possession ever since without previously exhibiting it publicly. It was sold yesterday at the Lloyd's auction in Queensland, with Lee Hames, the company's chief operating officer, describing it as a holy grail of cricket. He added that it has been hidden for 75 years, that's over 3 generations under lock and key, and if you were a family member, you were only allowed to look at it when you were 16 years old for 5 minutes. Though Sohoni played just the first test of India's 4-0 series defeat and did not take a wicket in their innings loss, he nevertheless bowled their first ball of the match and hence the first of the post-colonial era. Bradman's first cap from his debut in 1928 was sold for 450,000 Australian dollars in 2020. Shane Warne's baggy green holds the record for such an artifact, having raised 1,07,500 Australian dollars for the Australian Red Cross bushfire appeal in 2020. Moving into some rugby updates now, rugby coaches and captains gathered in Edinburgh yesterday for a launch event of the 2026 Men's Six Nations Tournament, which will officially get underway when the defending champions France host Ireland in Paris on the 5th of February. Well, let's have a look on what the coaches and captains had to say ahead of the big clashes. Bringing together head coaches and players from each of the competing nations and to inaugurate the 2026 edition of the championship, the event in Edinburgh marks the official start of the 6-week tournament that takes over cities, new agendas and unites players and fans through an unmissable experience. In 1871, Scotland hosted England at Rowburn Place in Edinburgh for what would become the first ever international fixture. The match paved the way for the Home Nations Championship in 1883. Fast forward to 2026, the Men's Six Nations, which has created many of the most unique cherished moments in rugby's history, stands alongside the most loved tournament and events in the world sport. Nearly 180 million global fans tuned to watch last year's edition, and a new record was set in attendance with over 1 million fans packing out stadiums across the 5 rounds of fixtures. All 6 captains gathered outside the famous gates of Edinburgh Castle for a unique photo moment before joining their head coaches at the Hub, a venue and a stage renowned for the global entertainers to meet the world's media. This will set the scene for this year's championship and a kick-start year that will usher in a new era for international rugby. The opener will be played on a Thursday to avoid clashing with the Winter Olympics opening ceremony on the 6th of February. England will open their campaign by hosting Wales on the 7th of February. England last won the tournament in 2020 and Wales are looking for a fresh start under new coach Steve Tandy. And finally, Italy will host Scotland in Rome in their opener also on the 7th of February, with Scotland captain Sion Tripolto seeking to lead his side to the end of an agonizing 27-year wait for the title.
We are really motivated and excited by the first game at home at Stade de France. It will be a bit weird to play on Thursday night, but we will take the opportunity to play the opening game of the Six Nations. It's always special, everyone is watching it, so we'll have to be ready for that.
It's something that we've never done before, and there's a lot of games between now and touching the trophy, but that should be a goal and that should be a dream, is to touch the trophy. But my message to the group would be to get the ball rolling and to start well in Rome. That's the most important thing, and that we go out there and play our rugby, play confidently, and start this tournament well.
Yeah, England-Wales is always a huge game. First up in the Guinness Six Nations is going to be, a real test for us. I think any first game of the Six Nations, regardless of who you play, is a real challenge because you're trying to find your feet a little bit. That's why we put a huge importance on the next 10, 12 days to get aligned, get clear on how we want to play and the game plan that we're going to put in place ahead to Wales. And the more that we can do that, the more that we can gain confidence, and then you generate a bit of momentum, which would be great.
Another short commercial break. More sporting updates coming right after this. Stay tuned. You're watching Derana Sports Central. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Central right here on Derana News Channel. England's women national football team manager Serena Wiegman received her Football Writers Association Tribute Award in London. Wiegman, who was honoured in 2023 after leading the Lionesses to 2022 Euros glory, was recognised again, having helped her side defend their European Championship title in 2024 with a penalties victory over Spain in the final in Basel, Switzerland. Now, Wiegman said she was proud and grateful to receive the award and that her focus remains squarely on next year's FIFA Women's World Cup to be hosted in Brazil from the 24th of June to the 25th of July.
Yeah, of course, I'm really proud, I would say, get the acknowledgement, and the media is so important, and seeing the women's game, so following the women's game, make it visible, and then acknowledge also that the performance we had. Yeah, that makes me really proud of the team and the staff and the FA that we've done. So it's, I'm really grateful that I will receive this award.
Heading into Melbourne Park Arena, Sabalenka handed 18-year-old American Eva Jovic a comprehensive 6-3, 6-love defeat at a sweltering Melbourne Park to remain on course for the third Australian Open title in 4 years. Meanwhile, Germany's Alexander Zverev remained on track for return to the Australian Open final after beating American Liana Tien in the quarter-finals today.
30 seconds.
Sabalenka raced into a 3-0 lead in the opener, and Jovic was made to work by the Belarusian to hold her serve in the fourth game to gain a foothold in the set. The teenager, appearing in her first Grand Slam quarter-final, used her speed around the court to frustrate her more experienced opponent, although Sabalenka eventually closed out the first set in just under an hour. Sabalenka was more dominant in the second set, the 27-year-old firing cross-court winner beyond Jovic to break serve in the opening game before dominating the remainder of the set to confirm her progress. Just after Sabalenka completed her match, outdoor play was suspended as organizers invoked their extreme heat policy at the Grand Slam.
Game, set match, Sabalenka. 2 sets to love. 6-3, 6 love.
It sounds really incredible and tough to believe, and yeah, for sure, like everyone, sometimes I just think that it's unbelievable what I was able to achieve, and I think what's really helping me to be there all the time is the focus that I'm having, and focusing on the right things definitely helps a lot with the consistency. Yeah, that was at the end of the match. That was really hot out there, but I'm glad that they kind of like closed the roof kind of like almost halfway, so we had a lot of shade in the back, so we could go back and stay in the shade. And but yeah, it was hot out there, and I guess as a woman we are stronger than the guys, so they had to close the roof for the guys so they don't suffer, you know.
Meanwhile, Germany's Alexander Zverev remained on track for a return to the Australian Open final after beating American Leonard Tien 6-3, 6-7, 6-1 and 7-6 in the Melbourne Park quarter-finals today. Zverev secured a break in the sixth game of the opening set when a 20-year-old Tien sent a cross-court backhand just beyond the tramlines to give the German the upper hand. There was little between the pair in the second set, which Tien shared in the tiebreak, having beaten Zverev in a fine passing shot to set himself up for a set point that he gleefully converted. However, Zverev pulled clear in the third set, eliminating the unforced errors and breaking twice to ease ahead. The fourth set went on to serve, but Zverev took command in the tiebreak and booked his place in the next round.
Well, actually, I feel like maybe top players feel the most pressure in the beginning. You know, not to have an early exit. And, you know, now whoever I'm going to play in the semis, Carlos or Alex, they're great players. And you're just looking forward to a fantastic match. That's what you're looking forward to. Of course, in my case, yeah, I'm still chasing that desired slam. And, of course, I still want to achieve that. But I also want to enjoy my tennis, and right now I'm doing that, and that's the most important thing for me. It's very solid, 24 degrees with AC on. It's great. I would love to play with the proof every single match. So it was not difficult. It was difficult physically, but it was not difficult with the conditions.
Formula One's new rules era formally began in Barcelona, with 7 of the grid's 11 teams hitting the track on the opening day of the 2026 closed shakedown week in Spain. Now, behind the closed doors at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, with no media present, the teams who chose to run on the day one were Mercedes, Red Bull, Racing Bulls, Haas, Alpine, rebranded Audi and the all-new Cadillac outfit. McLaren and Ferrari had already said they would not be running yesterday, while Williams are not attending the test at all due to delays with their 2026 car. Aston Martin meanwhile confirmed yesterday that they would intend to run on Thursday and Friday. And with that, we come to the end of today's edition of Ada Derana Sports Central. Well, we value your feedback, so don't forget to send it by email at feedback.atncenglish@derana.lk or by WhatsApp at 07680579333. I'm Asha Fernando will join you next with World News Tonight. With that, have a good night.